All right, what's on the menu? Knicks' next 3 games. 3 of 4 at home after a gauntlet of a 5-game road trip.
Ball
We're
don't
back.
stop.
All right, Hornets at home.
Yeah.
Off the 99-98 dub.
Revenge coming.
Then they got Pistons and they got Raps. Let's go through it.
3-0, by the way.
3-0 for sure.
Yeah.
3-0 ATS? Just kidding.
Stay tuned.
But just dance against the Hornets. That was, again, coming on the heels of the end of a road trip. Low total, weird start time, as we often
Friday
discuss.
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, just, could be still full from Thursday night starting at noon.
Sure.
Game goes well under. Knicks get the win. Looking at this Hornets matchup, anything on Thursday, and just basically these 3 games, let's talk about work towards Wednesday's hosting of the Hawks in the Cup.
Yeah, man, no nonsense. You have to bury teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Are the Raptors going to play hard? Yes. They've been playing hard all year. Are the Pistons going to play hard? Yes. They've been playing hard all year. Do the Hornets mess around? Yes.
I love what you tweeted.
Did we mess around on Friday versus them after Thanksgiving? Yes. So, they need to come out and bury these squads. I think that's something that they'll be talking about. That's something that they know. And you don't want to stumble into that NBA Cup quarterfinal. You want to be feeling good, confident. And I think that win, all year long, the Knicks have been going up and down. They've only had more than 2 wins in a row once. It's been up and down. We've been watching it.
Yeah.
Call it playing down the competition. Call it learning each other's nuances and trying to mesh as a team. But it's been up and down. For me, I believe that Magic win, you could call it must win. If you want to be a part of this NBA Cup, it's a must win.
Must win.
And this is a team that had won 12 of 13 coming in. For you to handle them and essentially just absolutely run them off the floor. Jalen Brunson didn't play the entire fourth quarter. Feels like a launching pad for me.
Cat bowling the Wagner.
Exactly. Everybody seemed to the roles didn't seem selfish. Ball didn't stick. Josh Hart did all the dirty work. OG had a ton of possessions where he was locked in on Franz Wagner, and when he felt like they had to pass him off to someone else picked up the slack. Even though Franz had a really good game, nobody else did.
Well, what was the biggest thing? Because again, they've packed on. They've already hit the total of 145 against a champion type team in the Nuggets.
Yeah,
they've posted incredible box scores. But I think you're on to something. Was it because they were the number 1 D in the league going into that game, Orlando? Was it because it was the Cup? There were real implications in an otherwise regular season game in the first half that wouldn't have that kind of setting?
Yeah, that, and I also think just consistently you're going to see that teams can't keep up with this team on offense. And if trying to play from behind against this team is a losing proposition.
Did you see anything defensively in the last couple wins that you've seen them turn a corner with?
Yeah, well, I actually tweeted when I was watching the Magic game was when the offense is rolling like this, it almost plays defense for you as well. So much pressure every possession to put the ball in the hole for the other team.
Yeah.
You could, I know I keep going back to the Magic game, but I thought that was a solidifying, stamping win.
Could have been a momentous win. I'm with you.
100%. And if you watch that game, the Magic started to press offensively extremely early. They're like, man, these dudes are putting the ball in the basket every time down.
Yeah.
And they're getting good looks. We have to try to keep pace with that. And if you are going to try to do that against the Knicks, I think you're in trouble.
So
when we're talking about teams like the Hornets and the Pistons, the Hornets, who play absolutely no defense for the most part, they're towards the bottom of the league. The Pistons are going to play hard, but we can rebound with them. They're a good rebounding team. They're physical. We'll do that. And then the Raptors, Scotty Barnes had 35 the other night, career high. But, they just don't have the roster to keep up.
Now, you mentioned just kind of packing these boys in. I want to bring up, just to work backwards, Knicks on the road in Atlanta. I remember I was on the Knicks in this game. They were up 110-105 with under 3 to play. I remember the Hawks were 8-1 live on the money line. They steal the game. Flat out stole the game.
Yeah.
So knowing that was the last result against Atlanta, they're coming to our house with 3 below 500 teams leading up to it. Can you prepare at all in any strategic way for the Hawks on Wednesday with the Pistons, Raps, and Hornets leading up?
Yeah, get wins. And put Atlanta on notice that you're going to have to score 125 probably to be in this game, especially at Madison Square Garden. I mean, if you want to talk narratives, you could go if you want to be the motivational Tom Thibodeau, you could get in the locker room and be like, we just messed around versus the Hornets, and it almost cost us the NBA Cup quarterfinal, because that was an NBA Cup game.
It was an NBA Cup game.
We could have blown the NBA Cup. So remember that, fellas. We need to come out and send a message to these guys and get back on them, and we're at home. Let's go to the next narrative. The Pistons have played really strong all year. There's not too much here for like personal versus the Knicks versus Pistons, but it's a home game. You're at home. It's an Eastern Conference opponent who has played well throughout this year.
Pistons have brought the effort.
When we're talking about covering numbers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to go to Atlanta, or you got to go to Toronto and see RJ. You got to go see the guys that
quick.
Yeah, and guys that have played on the Knicks and are going to want to send a message. And a lot of those guys are either playing for a contract or trying to get out of town. So you could drop a bunch of narratives on this spot, and then after that you got to play the NBA Cup game. So these teams cannot tie the New York Knicks' shoes, especially offensively. I don't see why they don't go 3-0, and then it's a highly anticipated game at MSG for the Cup.
I guess to put a button on it with the Hawks, I'm not worried about them. You're not worried about them, but they have beat Cleveland twice, who started the season 15-0. Anything to this Hawks team to be worried about? Anything you saw down the stretch against Atlanta that they can rectify in this Cup quarter?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you go look at that group, the group had the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and guess who came out of the group?
The Hawks.
You know what I mean? So, like, they have shown in spurts that they could play good basketball and win games if you don't take them seriously. The key here is start stacking these W's to where last year, Knicks fans will remember this, there was that stretch of invincibility. You guys don't have enough for us.
January 14-2 OG?
We're too much defensively, and then Jalen Brunson is unstoppable at the moment. Jalen Brunson is going to give you 30, and then we're going to throw 2 or 3 guys at you that are going to lock you up on D. Dante DiVincenzo is going to shoot you out. That's how it felt every single night coming into the Garden. At least that's how I felt. So I think use that Magic game as a trampoline to stack these winnable games to then just be feeling like an absolute monster at home in a raucous atmosphere against a team that's inconsistent.
Biggest thing, well said, biggest thing I just want to put a button on to wrap it. Cat going at the young Wagner and the crowd reacting. He made a face, almost like a pickup at the gym face.
Yeah.
Knocked into him. Step back, fade away Jay in his face, and the crowd reacts. I think Cat needs to lean into this mecca of basketball place that wants him to do that. No, I know, but that moment, I hope he just puts that moment in his back pocket and realizes, like, oh, I have this power as this all-star big in this place that Patrick Ewing sustained after the boys, obviously, from the OG era built, that when he does that, it's like, I'm trying to think of like an NFL reference. It's like when a big dude catches a touchdown.
Yeah.
Doesn't always catch a touchdown. You can rile a whole arena.
The crowd is waiting for it.
To some degree.
Cam Payne picked up a loose ball foul. It almost doesn't matter who it is. If you play to the crowd, they will play back.
Don't you think Cat playing to the crowd will make this team that much more lethal? Because that's where the sixth man of the Garden really becomes a factor.
Well,
I mean, you were in there.
Well, to be frank, I agree 100% because a big part of that team last year, they had a lot of edge.
And the crowd was right there with them.
This team, just how they are as people, there's not as many edgy guys. Dante DiVincenzo was an edgy guy. Julius Randle's an edgy guy. If Cat is going to have a little more edge to him, it'll only bring positivity to
I
the team.
love it. Jets fans, are you listening? All right. Knicks, NBA Cup, and then some.